around here. There's a bunch of crooks around here. You ain't supposed to be in that jail, boy. Get over there, man. No, that's a total no, man. Vat come in.
Is my salary going up?
The Bahamian people got to wake up.
This is my 5 cents, and I approve this message.
Police investigating a fraudulent letter regarding Dame Marguerite Pindling. A former F&M cabinet minister says legislation passed under the Ingram administration was ill-advised. A prominent web shop boss welcomes the gaming bill, this as government considers a national lottery. Plus, get ready for a culinary clash. We've got those stories and a whole lot more tonight. I'm Vonique Toot, and NB12 starts now. Tonight, police have launched an investigation to determine the source of a letter which claims that Deputy to the Governor General Dame Marguerite Pindling owes the Public Hospitals Authority a large sum of money. The letter, dated June 20th, 2014, has been widely circulated in the past 24 hours, prompting a response from PHA officials who insist she owes them nothing. Dana Smith reports.
PHA officials say they strongly deny the authenticity of the letter now being circulated, dated June 20th, 2014, and purportedly signed by a senior executive of the authority. The statement reads, quote, "The matter, which has been reported to the police, alleges an outstanding amount owed to the authority by Dame Marguerite Pindling. The PHA wishes to state for the record that Dame Marguerite does not owe any monies to the authority and therefore has no outstanding bill with its institutions and/or agencies." Our news team contacted PLP Chairman Bradley Roberts, who said he did not want to speak on the issue until he sees the letter. The NASA Guardian did not publish the letter in question. However, the PHA statement comes days after our news team revealed Dame Marguerite Pindling owed more than $300,000 in real property taxes, a bill that has now been settled. In light of this revelation, Democratic National Alliance leader Granville McCartney says there is no way Dame Marguerite Pindling should become the country's next Governor General. Though government has not indicated who will replace Governor General Sir Arthur Foulkes, who demits office early next month, it is widely speculated Dame Marguerite is the frontrunner. McCartney says while he respects and admires Dame Marguerite, Bahamians shouldn't let something like this slide.
If you're in public life, the expectation of you is higher than the average citizen. You've been outstanding for 14 years in payment of electricity, real property taxes. And then you're able to pay a day later. That does not bode well for the country. That does not bode well for, at the end of the day, our young people looking in. Let's get serious, people.
McCartney also lashed out at Progressive Liberal Party Chairman Bradley Roberts, who slammed the media for releasing information on Dame Marguerite's tax status and insisted she is not a politician.
She is a public figure. She is a deputy. She is and has been sworn in as a deputy Governor General. I don't know what Bradley Roberts, where does he live? Where does Bradley Roberts live? She's not in politics. She's not a public figure. See, this is the thing with these PLPs. They forget. They don't know. They forget that she is a deputy governor general. She's a deputy governor general now. What the devil are you talking about? My God! And these people running our country?
The DNA leader also blasted radio personalities who publicly slammed the media for releasing Dame Marguerite's tax status.
And then, of course, you do have some media personalities, though, who are singing for the supper and try to justify and actually talk bad about the media. They're only singing for the supper. They're being paid by the PLP. Do your job. Do it professionally, courteously. Be courteous in your endeavors. But you're the media. You do your job.
Reporting for NB12, I'm Dana Smith.
And a former cabinet minister in the Ingram administration says legislation passed by the former government in 2011 was ill-advised. The law that deals with the death penalty was thrown into question recently when the Court of Appeal determined that the murder of a policeman should not automatically mean the death sentence. F&M Senator Carl Bethel says he was always concerned about that law, but insisted the F&M government meant well.
I've always had some issues with it, and so when the Court of Appeal made their ruling, I was unsurprised by their finding.
A key component of anti-crime bills passed by the F&M government in 2011 was amendments to the Criminal Procedure Code, which state that the death penalty would be mandatory for anyone convicted of killing police officers, judicial officers, or murdering someone in the course of a robbery, rape, kidnapping, or act of terrorism. However, on Friday, the Court of Appeal determined that the murder of a policeman by itself should not mean an automatic death sentence. Bethel, who is a former attorney general, says he's not surprised.
I think, at some level, a court of justice is bound to say that every human life has the same value.
Bethel pointed out he was not a member of the Ingram cabinet at the time, but F&M chairman. However, he says members of the legal profession also questioned whether there should be an automatic death sentence merely because of the victim's status.
It is not surprising, and I in fact, glory in the fact that our judiciary is in process of maturing to such an extent that, yes, even an act of Parliament passed in Parliament can be brought into question in the way in which it seems from your reporting that the Court of Appeal has brought into question the well-meaning attempt of the former F&M government, of which I was a part.
The Court of Appeal made the determination regarding the death penalty law last week before it quashed Mario Flowers' death penalty and ordered that he be resentenced by the Supreme Court for the 2007 murder of Constable Ramos Williams. Minister of State for National Security and former police officer Keith Bell says he remembers the case well.
And I remember going to that funeral, and I remember his mother, and I continue to pray for her, because through that funeral, I never heard a mother cry like that before.
He wouldn't comment on the matter specifically, but said it should serve as a lesson for lawmakers.
As a young officer, he was cut down in the prime of his life, and I think that we ought to ensure that if our courts are telling us something, we ought to look at our law and ensure that we make the necessary adjustments.
With web shop legislation set to be tabled in the House of Assembly next week, web shop boss Greg Flowers told NB12 today he welcomes the move, noting the regulation of web shops has long been a dream of his. Flowers, who is the owner of FML Group of Companies, said he did not want to comment on any specifics of the bill because he didn't want to preempt the tabling. But he told our news team, "It's something I would have fought for from the day I walked in the door, and today I see it grow nearer to reality." Flowers says he has a great deal of appreciation for Tourism Minister Obi Wilshcombe and Attorney General Allison Maynard Gibson, who are doing the final cleaning up of the matter. He said they should be recognized and commended, noting Numbers houses have been among us for decades and we've turned a blind eye to it. Speaking of the gaming bill, a national lottery is not completely off government's radar, according to Tourism Minister Obi Wilshcombe. He confirmed provisions for a national lottery are included in the amended gaming bill that will be brought to Parliament next week, though the government has no immediate plans to introduce a lottery. Wilshcombe also said the Christie administration has already received a number of proposals for the establishment of a lottery. He said many private companies have applied.
It's a hard question. If it's going to happen next week, no. So as a part of the legislation, yes. It is. It's a part of legislation now. But we'll have to look at it again one step at a time. But there are many who have applied for the national lottery. But there are many who argue that it should be the government-run national lottery. But we've had private companies who've come in and asked whether or not we could, should we apply. You'd be surprised at the interest in the gaming industry.
Wilshcombe said back in January the government would not take a national lottery off the table. The majority of voters said no to a national lottery in the January 2013 gambling referendum. However, less than half of the electorate participated in that vote.